So good evening. It is Friday. For those of you that have not caught up today with our earlier videos, there was a court conference this afternoon in which the judge had agreed with us that there should be an extension until he is able to make a decision on the injunction. Unfortunately, because the delay came because Aetna and the Municipal Labor Committee decided that they wanted to try to intervene in our case. And so now the judge has to entertain their briefs. So what he did was he extended the deadline from June 30th to July 10th would be the new opt-out or waive date. And that we were pretty happy about that. The suggestion was received quite well, that he will hopefully come back from the July 4th weekend, and there will be a hearing on the preliminary injunction sometime the week of July 4th, and he hopes to have a decision in advance of the July 10th date. So that is the date, July 10th. You're going to ask, why is it July 10th? That is the date that the city needed as the last date, I guess, in order to move things forward for September. And the judge said, okay, July 10th. So he's going to try to review everything based on the preliminary injunction only and come back with some kind of a agreement for a hearing the week of July 4th. So hopefully he will make a decision ahead of the 10th. So that's great news for today. So do not freak out. There's nothing yet still for you to do. As we have always said, make sure you have done your homework. If you are considering waiving your healthcare plan to stay in traditional Medicare, you know that you should have already have contacted one of the agencies we have told you to contact to review, looking for a supplemental plan, knowing the pros and cons of that, the application procedure, the withdrawal procedure in case we win our injunction or we win our case. So those were all homework for you. So at this point, you really should be sitting pretty relaxing because you've already done all your homework and now you're just chilling with a margarita on a Friday night.
We all can hope.
With the Wonder Squad. Yes. So yes, please make sure you have done your homework. And if you have not, you better get it done by next week, because I don't want to hear any screaming, what am I supposed to do? You should know what you're supposed to do. And then Michelle and I were talking about coming up with a series of quick little videos about what to do in case we have to do it, and that we're working on sketching those out. So those will be coming soon. But thank God this does happen to buy us a little bit more time. This is the TRO hearing. When's the actual case going to be decided? Really, Eileen? Like, you want to put the cart in front of the horse. Let's get one thing through, one thing at a time. We have to deal with the PI first. Let's deal with the preliminary injunction. Then we'll deal with the case. Remember, we are juggling 3 cases at this point. We have the city's appeal of our first win from our very first case from 21. We have the class action copay case, and we have this one. So let's not burn the judge out. Please, let's not do that. Hope the judge has a great 4th of July. I do too. And Michelle, yep, about go out, but I figured I could listen to a few minutes before I leave. Okay, that's fine. Don't worry. Could you put up the homework again? Well, I didn't put up one, and I put up one late last night. It was about, I don't know, 11, 12 o'clock at night. But there will be different homeworks coming out. It is important that there is a massive showing on July 22nd. Get all your friends to come with you. Get your children that are on the job to come with you. I know it's during the day, but even if you come out in the afternoon, but 12 o'clock, try to be there en masse. Councilman Barron today said to us, please make sure that a lot of you are there. We want to see all of you to tell you what we're doing for you. So this is going to be huge. We also know DC 37, we were told, is going to plot something against us, whether they want to try to upset our bill or upset our rally, or there's even rumors they want to sue somebody. I don't know who, the council, us, some crazy, ridiculous bullshit. But just so you know, we're not worried, right, Michelle? You're muted.
Did you say July again, 22nd?
Did I really?
Yeah, it's June 22nd. It's June.
Did I say July?
Yes, you did. I missed it.
Well, I'll replay
You're
it back.
getting
Okay. The
confused.
rally is June 22nd. The rally is June 22nd. The rally is June 22nd. June 22nd, June 22nd.
Rah, 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 June 22nd.
I
Yes,
guess
that
we're
is
gonna
our
do one in
law.
July. What day is July 22nd?
I don't
We'll be doing
know.
one. I guess we're gonna be doing one then too. No, for right now, the only rally we have planned is June 22nd, noon. Did I really say July? Never mind, don't say it. I have nothing to drink, I swear.
That's
Yeah,
next Thursday.
Yes,
It's
that's next Thursday. 12
Thursday.
o'clock.
Jimmy, if you're listening, you're crazy.
There you go. We're having a big party on July.
The judge will be at the arbitrator Scheinman's house for the 4th with Greenberg and Klinger. You're a devil. Thank you for making me laugh. Sorry, Barbara. I guess I stand corrected. I've been confusing July and June, but it is June 22nd is the rally. Noon. I know. God don't like ugly, Diane, and that is our own former parent union, you know? Oh gosh, Joanne, she says, you know what? I think I have my infusion that same day. I think I'm gonna have to move that. Oh my gosh. Barbara says, thank you for all you do. You deserve a drink or two. I think I would pass out cold. Okay, Miriam, the exact place to be on June 22nd is Broadway and Park Place across from the Woolworth building. So very important. So Laura, I am meeting with the same issue. I do not know what that is about. So I think we need to do another email. Let me put that on my to-do list. In their response so far, all they have done is denied allegations, look like no detail, only read in first part. Yeah, we're not impressed. I'm coming to the rally by myself. My husband has to be at his doctor to discuss his test results. Just my luck, but I'll be there. Okay, great. But if you do want to be with your husband, it would be understandable. Okay, that's great. I live in Ohio as a UFT retiree, and every time you have a rally, I stand in solidarity with you in my house. Well, we will be live streaming this, just so you know. So I will do a YouTube link. I will post it up on Facebook, just like we did the last time. And it will be live streamed on a billboard truck that we rented outside, so that while you're outside waiting for us, because remember, it's a stated meeting. They only allow like 60 people inside, so it's not a lot. And there's a lot of other people that are coming. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if like people would come and just hog seats just so we couldn't get in. But what we want to do is make sure that you have the ability to watch from outside. And then once this is over, we will come out and we will update you all and then say goodnight, because it'll probably be somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock by the time we get the hell out of there. So hang tight, because it'll be a long day, but be comfortable.
And the weather forecast that I just looked at seems good. No rain noted.
Good. We were also permitted some minimal seating, extremely minimal. So Unfortunately, because it is minimal, you'll either have to take turns or share a half a cheek on each seat, but you'll get close to people, make friends. And then we are again, so Stephen, I'm activating you. We will again need rally marshals to be there, because not only will you have to make sure that our chairs are secured and they don't run away, make sure that the aisle, the sidewalk is kept open for pedestrians. So we want to make sure that that happens as well. The plumbers Local 1 are coming to join us. Yay, plumbers. We love our plumbers. And Lee is also coming. He's going to help us with that little step ladder, because we're short. Well, at least I'm short. And at least that way we could rise above the crowd. Yes, you're taller than me, Michelle. And then I can rise up a little bit above the crowd. And John, if you're hearing this, I will need your sound system. And that's the scoop. Marcia, I'm enjoying reading the city insist that statements in the SPDs about what our benefits are not promises. They twisted themselves in knots with verb tenses. I know you teachers get all twisted about that. But see, there's actually some precedent set about those SPDs, and so they're just got nowhere to go. Nancy Orens, you have taken the MA plans by the horns, not to mention the adversaries who think we had no chance of winning in court. Yeah, like our former unions who were calling us rogue or antagonistic labor organizations. If they really wanted the honor of representing us, or us capitulating to be represented by them, maybe they should have done the right thing by us and not try to steal from us. But unfortunately, the leadership has lost its way, sadly, and we need to get them on the right side, which means we need to educate them about labor law and retirees, and that you don't sell off retiree health benefits. And then, of course, we could be their friends again and support them in all the things, wonderful things that unions do. Because we'll all be, I'm sure, the first ones to agree that we should not be always agreeing with management, that we should be protecting ourselves. And sometimes that makes you an adversary with management. But unfortunately, they seem to be sleeping with management these days and willing to sell off retiree healthcare benefits to finance themselves. And that's not something we are going to allow. So I will say it over and over and over and over again. Henry Garrido, if you're listening to this, get your hands out of my damn pocket. They're all listening, I know.
Of course, they're listening. They're listening, they're watching.
I know, even Edna's been watching our YouTube. Creepers. Can you explain what was postponed? So Denise, the opt-out / waive deadline of June 30th has been postponed till July 10th. That's it. But since you all did your homework, this should not be any concern. You should go, oh, another week off. Yay, us. I know, I keep saying July 22nd may be an omen where we will win. Anne Marie, that must be it, girl.
Yeah.
We got everybody shaking in their boots. Michelle needs to take Garrido, Mulgrew, and Nispoli to obedience class with her puppy. Yes. Make them submissive dogs. Sounds like a plan. Yes, it is. Court case, only attorneys for the 4 entities will present and no witnesses. So no, so Renee, I'm not worried about that. The attorneys are presenting. Our documents speak for themselves. We're not needing witnesses. That's what your affidavits were for. Got a hold of today's daily news. The mayor is so trying us out to make us big uninformed. So yeah, so Anna is very funny. I had several council persons today say that they saw me on New York One yesterday, and and that put Henry Garrido and it put Mayor Adams to shame. And I'm sure it has, because he can't defend himself in what he's doing. I look forward to that day. Me, Harry, Henry, Michael, and the mayor in a room, and me after having 4 double espressos. Bing! That would be pretty funny. That's why they didn't want to do the blue ribbon panel, because they don't know their shit. Bring parasols for sunshades and camping stools, folding stools. You can get them from Dick's or Walmart. Yeah, you can also get them from Amazon. Yeah, but an umbrella is not a bad idea for sun, but we are in a shaded area, Ellen. There's really not a lot of sun where we were. We moved down to that side of the block for a reason. Barbara Ann, where do I find info or brokers for secondary? Barbara, I'm going to smack your fingers with a ruler like an angry nun. So we have been saying for weeks. How long have we been saying this, Michelle?
Oh, I know. Don't worry. We'll
Barbara, you go to
info.
medicare.gov. You can go to your state supplemental health insurance program, your state SHIP program office, or AARP, and you can look up a supplemental plan.
Plus, we're gonna do some live stuff to help you guys, and for those who didn't do their homework and need help, because I know some of yous are a little late to the party, which is okay, because I know everybody's been doing their thing.
Will the city accept the waiver if I put under duress after my signature, like how they do when it's voluntary? I'm sure you could write that and it won't matter. Already, Jack and I are prepared. Cool. Thank you, Stephen. I need to get you like baseball hats or armbands or something, or
So yes, that was my puppy. She's getting big.
I can't be part of the rally. I will be in Paris and Ireland for 2 weeks. I don't have many issues because I live in Puerto Rico. Well, that's wonderful. Let's see. Is it possible for you to rent porta potty? Janet, there's a deli across the street. Just go buy a cup of coffee and pee. Yes, John, you are in the live, John Blau. I could see you. Robert, no, Rat Man's not coming. I don't know anything about the Rat Man.
I think he might mean the blow up inflatable rat.
No, not for this event. This is about our legislation. I don't want rats at our legislation events.
How about guinea pigs?
The opt-out / waiver is on the OLR website. I do have, we did download the form. We'll have it in an email link and we'll put it on our website page for people to download.
Yes, early voting for the New York City primary starts tomorrow, Saturday, June 17th.
Did OLR on the form, I didn't notice this, did they update the waive date from June 30 to July 10th?
I haven't checked yet. I haven't seen anything yet.
John Blau says, if I'm on the live, can we take, if the necessary, our form to OLR in person if needed? John, I really don't think that's necessary. You should really just fax it in or email it or leap file it or, yeah. Follow the directions on the form.
It has been announced.
And keep a copy.
Yeah, the form I got in the mail yesterday. At the very top, it says, use this form between May 1 and June 30. So I'm wondering.
But sweetheart, that came out before
that.
today's
I
decision.
know, so
Oh.
I'm wondering if they changed it on the OLR
There's-
website.
There's an update on OLR that says the opt-out waive has been extended to July.
Right, I know that, but I'm wondering if they
Give
updated
me
the
a
form.
second, I'm gonna look now.
Okay,
Steve Salmon says, power to the people, reach back into our collective past and rise up and protest again. Yes, absolutely. And I want to tell you guys too. So we did an event yesterday with local TW Local 100 employees and retirees. The same thing is happening to them. Transit Workers Union Local 100 decided to negotiate a contract behind their backs and did the same thing to them. They had 3 choices of plans, 1 PPO, one supplemental plan, and 2 Medicare Advantage plans. They stripped the PPO supplemental plan away from them and left them with just the 2 MA plans. They are not happy. And so they are also joining us on the on June 22nd at the rally on June 22nd. See, I said it right. They will be joining us as well. They are not city employees technically. I mean, they are, but they get their benefits from the state MTA. But they are going through the same thing, and we are trying to organize and rally all New Yorkers that this is happening, and then organize all of us around the country to stop this greedy insurance companies from stealing our healthcare. So we want to make sure that we make friends in this process, because it's going to be really important to start educating unions. They do not sell off retiree health benefits, and they're not doing it on our watch. And that's where friends come in handy.
So the new form with the new date is up on the OLR website. Thank you. Somebody did say it was up there. I do see it. I'm looking at it now. I'm downloading
Please
it.
speak to the teachers. It appears that this is mainly DC 37 and the Teamsters. Last tally saw only a handful of UFT retirees. Please speak out to us. I don't know what that means. So Mary, again, the new date to send that form in would be July 10th. But again, we are hoping to have a hearing between the 4th and the 10th, or the 5th and the 10th, and you will let us know. Harriet Coppell, I honestly do not know. Please make that phone call or email to your council person, because that council person has not replied back to us on that either. Right, teachers aren't happy with the contract. TW 100 is not happy with their contract, and I know they dumped a whole boatload of other unions that finalized their contracts as well. And I just haven't had a chance to go through them, because you guys are more important than them right now. What happened with Representative Bowman? We've been trying to speak with him. We've sent in some communications, but we've had nothing come back. At the UFT meeting this week, Aetna clearly said something indicating they are listening to us. I can't remember exactly what they said, but I think it was something like our site is giving misinformation. Oh yeah, they actually did say that we're putting out misinformation, but don't worry, our attorneys looked through everything that they wrote and we've debunked that too, so we're not worried. They're misinformation, they're misleading. John, I'm not sure I asked the question right. If at some point I need to waive and want to take it to OLR in person, can we, on the last few days before the deadline? John, I don't think anywhere in the instructions on the form does it say OLR Renee's Campion would love to see John Blau with cookies and candies at the OLR office. Please just fax it and email it or mail it. Follow the directions on the form. Just fax it and email it. Michelle, I think your volume went up. So John, I'm not suggesting you go down there in person. I don't even know if they'll let you in. If you want to take a chance, take that chance, but you take that chance in your own hands. I don't have cable. Where would I find? Where on broadcast TV would I find New York One? Just go to their website, Spectrum NY1, and I think you can download, you can watch at least 4 videos. But we did post the video on our Facebook, so just go to our Facebook. I posted it, was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it's on the Facebook page, Sandra. Since they extended the opt-out waive date, should we still send in our waiver forms on June 23rd? No, Max, I told you the deadline is now moved. And I didn't say to send the forms in on the 23rd. I said that would be the day as we're nearing to make a decision whether you're going to do it or not between the 23rd and 30th. Now that since the deadline has been bumped up to July 3rd, you will again hear back from us on what to do.
Mary Ann, deadline bumped up to July 10th.
Yes, July
3rd.
July 10th.
10th.
Since it is bumped up to July 10th, we will tell you sometime between the 4th and the 10th what to do. Margaret, this case is not about Michael Mulgrew or the United Federation of Teachers. They're not a defendant. I know they're at the end of your ire, but they're not in this case. Although the Municipal Labor Committee is trying to stick their nose in there, they're still not in this case. Our UFT monthly retiree meeting went viral because they're afraid of us. Did I miss something?
No, they stopped it from being in person.
It says it went viral. That doesn't mean they stopped it in person. So something must have happened. If Mulgrew shows up, then Miriam should have equal time. Nah, he's not showing up. He's not invited to the hearing. Adam is looking really bad. Everyone he has hired and appointed is quitting. He micromanages everything. Yes, I would have to say the police commissioner left with grace. That definitely took strength. I don't think I'd ever want to mess with that woman. But kudos to her. Did an affidavit go in about many of us did not receive any material from Aetna? Yes, and we actually, I need to put that on my list too, Michelle. We need to redo that. So I need to redo that questionnaire, that survey we did about did you receive your Aetna packets? So I will repost that tonight. That will be your homework this evening and through the weekend. I don't care if you answered the first one, answer this one. And I'll make that post and I'll put it out in an email. I need to do my opt-out paperwork. I haven't received an opt-out paperwork from the city. Can you please repost what to do? Catherine, that form is on the OLR website and we will post that on our website. Actually, the link should be there already. I believe the moderators have been posting that link.
And I threw it in the chat.
And Michelle said she just threw it in the chat. So look for Michelle's comment in the chat.
Right.
If the judge doesn't issue the ruling until after July 4th, there is not enough time to process all our waivers. Karen, that was actually brought up at the hearing today, the meeting today. And the city was warned and Aetna was warned that their
Don't
internet
worry about it.
their internet technology better be up to snuff and not crash. They were told.
Right.
So if all of you opt out on the same day, there should not be a crash. But if there is, I think good things would happen for us. Judge is not gonna like that. Should the group put out another pledge card before the June 27th primary? Well,
Oh, don't you have homework or something for them next week?
it was the same basic homework that I did the other day. The one that said, call your council per email
Right.
the council and told them to support or co-sponsor the legislation. And you know what was disturbing? I haven't been on social media today, but how many of you actually contacted your council persons and their response was, I can't comment, or the council person can't comment because they haven't seen the legislation? I'm like, are you guys reading your emails? We've been emailing it to you for an entire, like, I don't know, 2 months. Like in all week, there must be like 50,000 emails of the please co-sponsor our legislation with the legislation in the damn bill, in the damn in email.
Mail.
Like, are they just not reading? I just don't get it. I just received books after 7 phone calls. I don't even think I want to open it as I feel very positive we got this. Beverly, what do supplements cover? Dentists or meds? No, your supplemental plan covers the part that Medicare doesn't. Medicare pays your first 80%. Your supplement pays the last 20. Your welfare fund, if you are in the welfare fund, union welfare fund, covers your prescription, vision, and dental. If you're not union, then you get it through MBF. And if we waive city benefits, can we enroll in a supplemental health plan and drug plan in mid-July to mid-August? Gilda, that tells me you haven't done your homework, Gilda, because you're supposed to be asking the people that sell that insurance plan that question. That's not something we can answer. So do your homework. Because if you want to watch my head explode like July 8th, 9th, or 10th, ask me that question again that week. My head will explode.
Thanos. I think that movie.
The AARP rep told me it would only cost the mayor $20 more per person to keep our benefits. Oh my gosh. The UFT retired teachers chapter mailed us the waiver form. I know, because they're so flush with money, they could afford copying the form, the envelope, and the stamps, that now that form is obsolete.
Right.
So there's your dues money out the window. But yes, Linda, Michelle told me that this morning while I was brushing my teeth. I'm like, they did what? Marianne, you mentioned today in your announcement that Henry the Hog Garrido threatened that he owns the Civil Service and Labor Committee. We should make sure Carmen De La Rosa knows that he thinks she's his bitch. I'll let her know that when I see her. We're going to be there on Thursday.
June 22nd.
June 22nd. Crazy. Well, at least you know OLR's on the ball for once. Oh my gosh. If we have our Medicare card on file with OLR, I was told we don't need to attach a copy of it. Yeah. Roberta, I contributed to Vernikov's election, even though her party affiliation is not mine. I am very appreciative of her support. Roberta, that is very sweet of you. If we get stuck with this shitty plan, do we still get the payment back at the end of the year and the two numbers I have on the OLR paper are disconnected?
Okay, so Al says, seems you guys have tunnel vision with opting out. What happens if I don't opt, if you don't opt out? Okay, so if you don't opt out, you go into the Medicare Advantage plan.
There is still confusion because
Right.
of calls and texts and things that I've been getting this week between opting and waiving. Opting only puts you in the HIP VIP.
Right.
So instead of MAP, you're going to HIP VIP. If you
That's a
don't
good-
want either one of those, you gotta waive out
Right,
and get your terminology straight, guys. Because if it gets to the point where you gotta fill out the form, you gotta know which section of the form you want.
right. So again, if. And also, you gotta remember, opting out of MAP. Okay, will put you into HIP VIP. Okay,
Right,
but that's if you live in the 5
And counties,
boroughs in the,
and counties.
and counties, right? So, you have to be careful with that. So if you don't want either, and you just think, oh, I'll just opt out, and you live in one of those 5 counties and surrounding areas, you'll end up being in HIP VIP and not realize it. So you need to be careful, and you can't use those words, you can't
interchange them.
right, interchange them. So please, we're gonna do a step-by-step on those. They're not interchangeable, those words. This is a different animal than the Alliance plan. Yeah, somebody just said it. Think of waving goodbye as
Mhm.
waving goodbye your your benefits. Opting out is, you're opting out of, the plan. Right.
What will happen if I don't send that form? I'm a DSNY retiree. Ferrer Augustin. Then if you don't do the form, you stay in Aetna.
Right, now, Aetna,
If you're in senior care, if you are in HIP VIP, you stay in HIP VIP.
right,
It depends which plan you're on. So you didn't put that in here. If you're in GHI, that's different.
right,
But you would transition
And-
to the Aetna plan. If you are in HIP VIP, there's nothing for you to do. You'd stay in HIP VIP.
right. And also, there is no opt-out form. You have to either call Aetna or go onto their website and fill out the mask, I believe. So again, we're gonna have all those directions on, yeah, there is no opt-out form for Aetna.
Laura Genovese. When I called the UFT Welfare Fund a few days ago to firm up a drug question, I also asked if there was a possibility this opt-out or waive deadline might be delayed. The rep suddenly got hostile and said, no, it's a done deal. I guess their script failed. Yes, because today actually showed that the deadline got bumped up. Caitlin, I think he's asking if you all can turn in your wave forms as a group as an additional form of protest as an organized action. So I think, so Caitlin, are you asking John Blau if he'd like to do a rally on that day and all meet in front of OLR and chant for Renee Campion to come downstairs and take our papers?
But then you'd have no proof that you sent them.
We'd have it on video. And I'm sure Tara would be watching. You cannot go without any appointment as far as I understood from actives. I don't know, Gwen. I honestly don't even want to be anywhere near that building. I might get nauseous and throw up. Do you think it will matter if we have to waive our rights on the date on the form is the old date? No, I don't think it's gonna matter. It's just that you know you have time because the form doesn't tell you that you have time. Just as long as you know you have time.
I would use the new form.
I know you would.
Yep.
I don't think they're gonna be picky. Look, the United Federation of Teachers just mailed it out to how many freaking retirees?
So maybe they'll mail us new forms with the new date.
Okay,
Right.
how much is a
Michael.
stamp
With
today?
more your dues.
How much is a stamp today?
I
Anybody?
don't know. 55,
It's
60
it's like
cents.
55 cents.
Mr. Mulgrew, you know you're listening, or one of your people. Don't mess with the retirees. Send out the new dated forms.
Yeah, but he will, because it's not his money, it's the dues. Oh, it's
This is a
63
tech
cents?
question. I always get on late due to not clicking on the right button. What am I not doing right? I bring up the page and refresh. Somehow I find it late, but not at the start. So John, as long as you're on the page by about 8:15, 8:30, you may have to wait because sometimes we run late. Actually, most times we do. And a lot of times it's my fault. So
Yes.
So, but that's really all you have to do. If you just got to come on the page. You were actually here. It appeared you were here on time. I saw you early, so I think you're fine. And I wouldn't stress out about it. It's actually recorded. It'll be here, and you can just go back and replay it if you missed anything. So don't stress out about it. There is an alert that you can put from on our page that anytime we do a live, it will send you an alert and tell us we are live. Tell you we are live. OLR accepts walk-ins on Wednesdays. Oh, well, I don't think the 10th is a Wednesday. Oh, no. Prince's Baby, the New York One YouTube is on our Facebook page. I called Councilman Botcher's office and spoke to an intern in his office. The intern is making a list of names of people who call with their names and phone numbers for Councilman Botcher. Does anyone know if he's supporting the legislation? Not to my knowledge.
I gotta go out. Come on.
Ray, you can print out the new form if you want to. Where I live in VA, I do have a healthcare system that accepts MAPs. So my plan is if we lose in court, I will accept the MAP plan. Is that a faulty plan? No, Charlie, if your doctors are in the Aetna Medicare Advantage plan, that's fine. You can, if you find that eventually that plan doesn't work for you you'd have the ability to get out of that plan. You'd have to purchase your own supplemental, like we've been telling everybody to look at as an option, if that's what you're wanting to do, that you have to do that homework, but you could always do that during open enrollment. Which would end up, if it goes off as they plan, would happen in like, October, November. The window for the judge's hearing is small. As you said, the 4th of July is a federal holiday. So then there's the 5th, 6th, and 7th, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8th and 9th are a weekend, and then the 10th is a Monday. Yes, which is why the judge said there would be a hearing between the 5th, 6th, and 7th, which would give you more time to make him to come to us to make a decision on the preliminary injunction. I have a very good feeling about the preliminary injunction because I don't think he would only give us an opt-out window of like 3 days or 2 days. So, but then still, I'm not concerned, and neither should you, because if you've been listening to us and have done your homework, then come the 10th, if we were not victorious, all you'd have to do is fax your form, leapfrog your form. You'd be fine. The UFT is not in this case. We did not sue the UFT. We sued the city. My union sent a newsletter and talked out both sides their mouth. Koba. Princess baby, I am not shocked. That's all Benny seems to do, is talk out both sides his mouth. Didn't we name the UFT in our request for a TRO? No, we did not. We named the Department of Ed. I'm so confused. Are you saying we should opt out? Then we lose our other union benefits. I'm confused as to why everybody is looking to opt out. Plan B for me is to take the Aetna plan and hope for the best. So Al, to my knowledge, you are not losing your welfare fund benefits if you choose to waive your city healthcare to stay in traditional Medicare. But there are many people that want to or need to, because their doctors are not in the Aetna plan, to stay in traditional Medicare and would have to waive their health care. Work Bites, The Wire NYC, Educator, JD2718, Ed Notes Online have been spreading the news how the MLC leadership screwed the retirees, and they have posted articles on how Medicare Advantage is a greedy profit-making privatized healthcare. Yes, Zulma, they've been doing wonderful. Oh, everyone's saying that UFT meeting was virtual, not viral, because they needed the space for contract talks. You knew what they meant, Carol. You read their minds. That's called passing the buck, and Koba calls it kicking the can down the road. Go figure. My union sold me out or what? Yes, Princess baby, I definitely think they did, but don't worry, because you're in good company, because the rest of ours did the same thing. Michael Solomon, the opt-out forms are online. Michelle just put one in this thread, and they are on the OLR website.
You're muted, Michelle.
The waiver form. not the opt-out form. The opt-out form, there is no opt-out form for Aetna.
He's
Aetna-
calling, I know what he's calling it is the waiver form, but yes, there.
Yeah.
So Michelle, so clarifying, to clarify for those that are thinking the opt-out form, Michelle advised you that there is only 2 ways to opt out. And that would be to call Aetna
Or online.
or to go online. Sorry, I was reading at the same time. If you want to waive your benefits, you need to do a form, which she posted. But we're still telling you, you have time. That nothing needs to be done yet.
Right.
How many fax machines do they have? I don't know. Gerald,
One
you ask the
has the
craziest
phone.
questions. I just think that machine gonna be smoking, that's all.
It's gonna catch fire.
Gonna crash.
Yeah, like those lithium batteries.
Ah,
We need someone to make like a Giphy of a like fax machine on fire. Gail Brewer's office says she has to see the legislation. I think we might end up sending her the legislation 12 million times this weekend. She's seen it. She's just playing you. Ask her if she read her emails like yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before, and the day before that.
Now I'm gonna make my usual Friday night pitch. And be mindful that we're at a critical point with this case. And all of us work for free. The lawyers do not work for free. Guarantee you that. So send money, please. The best way, the simplest way for us to receive it is by Zelle. If you're not comfortable with that, we also, as you can find on our website, we have PayPal and Venmo and checks that you send to Georgia. But if you do the checks, you gotta sign them, date them, make them out to us, the organization. Okay?
yeah, not the accountant.
No. And then keep track of your own checking account. We get queries all the time about, did my check clear? And usually it cleared several days ago, but we've got to research it. That takes time for us to do. So really Zelle is the absolute best, but use whatever the 4 methods work. We got bills to pay, guys.
Yeah, and they're gonna get bigger. Ah. Am I missing anything?
Hold on, let's say Marsha, hold on, I just downloaded the form. She said there's some contradictory info. Hold on. It's so stupid. Yep, all right.
Nothing else?
Yeah, I see it, Marsha. All right. Yeah, I
So
don't know.
Kathy says, what evidence of, the evidence of coverage refers to a network service area and extended service area. Also states where a member through an ESA, what's the difference? Well, the network service area is where there is an Aetna network. The extended service area, ESA, is basically a network desert. There is no Aetna network. What you have to do is, if that area is you'd have to see if there's a doctor in that area that is not in the network, they'd have to accept the plan for payment. If not, you're kind of SOL.
So we will be putting the form up on our website or on our Facebook page. Just give us a couple of days because they're actually. Yeah, just give us a couple of days because there's something up with that form, that the new form that they put up. Now remember, the opt-out is different than waive, okay? So we will give instructions on that very shortly. This is not like the last time, okay? On the first go around, all right? So there is no opt-out form. You either call Aetna or you go online at the coney.aetna. Whatever it is, okay? Because that's what it says on the form for the waive, okay? So that's the website you go on. So yeah, there is no opt-out form. All right. Now remember, it is Juneteenth on Monday. So it is a 3-day weekend for us. So give our moderators a break, right, Marianne? And even though we won't get a break because we have to help the lawyers with their litigation stuff, catch up with some other stuff. It never ends, never ends.
Karen Lamana, you're asking about copays. So the copay class action put an injunction on the copays from like January 12th of 23. They should not be charging you a copay from January 12th forward, and that is for everyone on senior care. If you are not on senior care, that does not apply to you. So I think we're closing the page through Tuesday, right?
Correct. So we're gonna close the page till Tuesday, but again, we will, if anything happens, you know, like Marianne always says, she will open it up, or if she has homework for you guys to do, you know, always look, there's maybe something there for you guys to entertain yourselves with, even though Monday's a holiday. What
I
else?
get some rest for the rally on Thursday, June 22nd.
Right.
Send money this weekend so we can pay the lawyers before the hearings in July.
I think that's it. And again, you guys who need a waive form, send an email to the org address, and I will get it to you. Those that are not tech savvy, those who are somewhat, they can download it off our Facebook page, or we can send it out on a link on the email or website. And
I
yes,
know, crazy.
happy Father's Day on Sunday to all the dads out there.
And keep our attorneys in your thoughts, because they do not have a Father's Day. They told their families they had to waive Father's Day because they
Yes, wait, wait,
because they have to do their brief is due next week. So they told their families there'd be no Father's Day this week. They'll do Father's Day next week.
Yes.
So send love to Jake and Steve, and And,
And their paralegals.
Yes, and everybody, and like I said, thanks again to the moderators holding down the page. And just thank you guys, because again, without you guys, we wouldn't be here.
absolutely. And for those that want to get on OLR's website, just go to Google and put in NYCOLR. It's super easy.
Yes.
All right. It's 9:43 and I'm pooped. And I know you guys are too. So, have a great weekend, guys. And I will put up some homework eventually, and I will send out the newsletter and put up the new survey. You guys
Survey.
email Ari like you said you were, and whatever other council persons that you had, and ask them where they stand. Tag them in your social media. Hello, council person, whatever. Your retiree constituents would like to know where you stand on supporting our legislation. Will you stand with us on June 22nd? See, I said it right.
That's the correct month.
Yay.
Yes, and tell them all co-sponsoring council persons will be front and center at the rally. Tell them
And remind them that old people vote.
vote.
Yes. All right.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So have a great weekend. We'll be posting stuff in drips and drabs. I think I'm gonna pass out, and then we'll do stuff tomorrow, right? Stop yawning.
I know. Yes, in the afternoon, because I have stuff in the morning and then I have other stuff in the latter morning. But I will catch up with you in the afternoon, Marianne.
Yeah, because we got to finish doing that debunking of that BS. All right, guys. We're almost through it.
Oh,
right.
we're having nightmares about this stuff already.
I know.
Anyway,
It's like old times. Have a great weekend, everyone. Love yous. Enjoy Father's Day, and we will see you Tuesday morning. Ciao. Mwah.